Stop listening! Instead, stream the uncut version of this discussion by either or both, tipping us on Ko-fi or joining a membership on either Ko-fi or Patreon via the links in the description.
Another player. Fallout is a single-player game.
Where do you find out that's wrong?
The house always wins.
Apparently it never changes.
Yes, the house never changes.
The house never changes.
I got thick socks on, too.
I have two pairs of socks on.
Oh, God. See, I don't wear socks usually, even.
Now I gotta think about that every time we
I know,
record.
right?
Yeah.
I'm just picturing David's hairy hobbit feet under the computer desk.
Chet is eating a sandwich over the baby and gets crumbs on the baby.
Right?
On the baby.
Yeah. You wipe some off.
Yeah.
The babies get
crumbs all over it.
That 100% happens.
Oh yeah.
That is
You gotta hold
unavoidable.
a baby all the time?
You know, it's just, you don't see that on television, you know, you're eating a sandwich over a baby and you get crumbs on the baby.
What else are you supposed to do if you have to hold the baby constantly?
But it's also the whole, he's doing this to get the, there's just something about, again, it's like Morgan pooping. You don't get to see that on TV.
So it's funny when you do.
We have enough fodder for the pre-show. I say dumb things that never make the episode that get shown before the episode, but like in little out of context bursts. Have you seen the intro? Yeah, Jason, I know.
Does anybody watch the videos besides me?
Yes.
I don't think so.
So what's our podcast?
See what Dave does.
We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, most times we go deep. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by...
Me, CosmoMom09.
Karina of Etta Karina Art.
Jason at Neo's the One.
And I'm Rob over at Rob Stuff and Things on TikTok and YouTube.
Thank you for being here. And today we're effing here to talk about Fallout's 7th episode of its 2nd season, titled The Handoff. A little housekeeping. Yes, we should remind you again that we do have some merch available for sale. Not just t-shirts, not just mugs, but a bunch of other things themed in our Vault Boy-esque, thanks to Karina, selves on various...
My shirt just came in a couple days ago.
Yay.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you have it on hand or in the room?
No, it's in the wash right now. So I can wear it next week.
There you
Yay.
go.
I
For
need to
the
get one.
season finale.
Yeah.
Well, consider getting one of those like Jason did. When you head over to squawkingdead.com, choose the main menu, choose shop merch, choose the new store. If you are a member of any kind, walkers on up, you can check our Ko-fi or Patreon and receive a 20% off discount to the store. So what are you waiting for? Because, hey, this design is not going to be available forever. At some point after the season ends, the clock starts ticking and then we have to make more room for other designs when other shows come up like Dark Winds. Which, will I make a new design for our coverage of Dark Winds? Who knows? I guess we'll have to see. And for now, we're here to talk about Fallout's penultimate episode of Season 2 titled The Handoff. How does the handoff relate to what we just saw on this episode?
When Cooper hands off the cold fusion to the president. When
Ding, that's one.
Max gives the cold fusion back to Cooper.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Just always winds up in Cooper's hands for some reason or another.
Because he's the other player.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, there's Thaddeus's literal handoff.
Yeah.
It's attached to an arm, which falls off. Yep.
Yeah.
Betty Pearson hands off Hank's keepsake box to Stephanie Harper in the Intervault chamber. Wonder what that's all about, especially after Stephanie and Chet's wedding debacle. She
Well, that
heads
was
to the
before
overseer
it.
room. Correct. Right. But as things go down, you wonder what is in the works now.
Well,
is
sure.
it with her in the
Sure.
overseer room? It could be in the same overseer safe as it was in Betty Pearson's and as well in Vault 32 where Stephanie is. I guess we'll see. Or what'd be really cool is if she ran in a panic, reliving her own trauma of escaping the big 51, the 51st state annexed Canada, and absentmindedly ran into her overseer room without getting the keepsake box. That would be wonderful. I guess one could say that the torch that is what represents the NCR is handed off to Maximus.
Oh, that's true.
The Ghoul helps out with that. He hands off what was the NCR, which he had no problem with. He did work with the NCR. In a weird, touching way, the Ghoul is being the good guy. Right? It's weird when you kind of put it to paper and you actually kind of look at it and like, oh, wait, hold on a second. Or it's like a manipulation tactic.
Yeah.
Well, this will get him going.
He's going to do whatever he needs to serve his own needs. And right now he needs to get into that vault to save his family.
I dig it because I was writing something to that equivalent in my notes as well. How all of that was to really get at the diode, and why not try instead of blowing things up and killing people? I can do many things at once here. You know, this kid could have a life and maybe bring back the NCR. I don't know. It's fine. I think I liked it.
Don't hurt yourself.
I have a silly one.
What?
The Ghoul hands off Hank to his
to Stephanie.
housekeeping lady.
Yeah,
To Stephanie.
Yep.
To take care of him. And well, I guess Hank took care of her in return in
Yeah,
some
got her
form or
into a
fashion
vault.
by giving her a job,
Mhm.
obviously.
Obviously.
Okay, I got another one that's really dumb. You ready? Chet and Stephanie hand off rings to one another. I suppose they're handing off vows of matrimony.
Yeah. And then they're
Davies handing them off.
I don't like that one.
Did I get a thumbs down?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't like that one.
Okay.
Karina literally thumbs down. Dislike, downvote.
Nice.
Do not want to see more of this. Mute author.
It hurts more, right? Thumbs down.
It does, but it's funnier. Oh, well, I guess in the end, the house always wins. Cooper hands off the cold fusion to the house
Mr.
ultimately, which was the original plan all along. Well, and then there's a parallel because even Maximus says as he sees the NCR power armor,
You always end up back where you started, huh? Now you understand.
and it isn't the Ghoul back where he started?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have given that to House originally 200 years ago. And
Oh, to that end, I have to issue a correction because I misspoke. In season 1, the Ghoul isn't with Lucy when Lucy has to take the Ripper to Will Zig's neck. He bites on a cyanide tablet, kills himself. Lucy has to take off his head. The reason why the Ghoul isn't there is because she was fleeing the Ghoul. The Ghoul was an
That's right.
adversary at the time. Maximus saves her. They are with each other no, they're not with each other for a little while. They have to tangle with one another while Lucy and Wilzig walk on by. Remember that whole scene where Wilzig gets a new foot?
oh yeah.
Well, the Ghoul was after Wilzig.
Right.
He was hired to get him, so that's why he was after.
So I had thought that the Ghoul was there when the cold fusion was being extracted at the very least, right, all the way near the end, from Wilzig's head. He wasn't. This is a very fruitful title, as opposed to some of the other ones which weren't as much, I suppose. Well, Chet refused to hand off Woody's glasses.
Yeah, I don't know why he made the choice to put them back in the disposal and finish
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that
disposing
was
of
weird.
them.
Would have been nice if he kept him
It's
and
an
then he
odd
could
choice.
break him out during the ceremony to prove his point.
I think he only decided to do that in the moment because originally I think he was just going to shove it down and ignore it.
Yeah.
And that's why he put him back.
That's what he usually does,
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at that moment, he's got to be pretty scared of stuff.
Yeah. And he's about to be forced into a marriage that he didn't ask for or want.
Yeah.
Do you think that there may be a part of him that does, since he's around her all the time, that maybe he sees things that even we as the audience might not see? When you're sleeping literally next to the person, and maybe even though he's snoring with an eye mask and sound asleep, maybe he does feel her get up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. We don't see it, but maybe there is some sort of cognitive dissonance with Chet. It's not just about getting along to get on. Could there be some sort of affection or like Stockholm syndrome, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have sympathy
definitely.
for your jailer.
Yeah.
I think he's terrified of her.
Yeah.
I think that's valid.
So many things may apply here.
Yeah.
Whatever psychological illnesses Chet may have gained as a result of this relationship, they all apply. I could see him having genuine affection for her.
I feel like from the beginning he was sort of roped into this. He was just trying to give her sympathy because her husband got killed right after she had her baby or right before. And it turned into something I don't think he ever meant for it to be. Because you remember, he was obsessed with Lucy in the very beginning. They're cousins and they can't be together. So
if they were still at that vault, they would have been at that party.
yeah. I don't think this relationship with Stephanie is ever something that he wanted. I think from the beginning, he sort of felt pushed into it. Being a vault dweller, he's a little bit timid to say, no, I'm not going to do that, because they are very conditioned to go with the flow and don't rock the boat and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, and you'd have to, right? Because if you're living in close quarters for however many centuries
Your whole life.
with one another, you kind of have to adapt that skill.
Your whole life. That's all they ever known is close proximity to each other.
Yeah.
But as a culture, too. Yeah.
There's plenty of examples of how vaults started infighting with each other and creating factions, and they all just ended up killing each other over it because there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to separate to.
You know, actually, over the course of all these discussions, season 1, season 2, what was the secret sauce that made this tri-vault work out? And is there a concerted effort, or is it the fact that maybe they broke away from Vault-Tec at one point, or maybe Vault-Tec had its own competitive whatever? Because there's clearly Buds, and then there's Hank and Betty Pearson. He's even like, I just want to live in peace. And Stephanie's like, maybe I don't want to make you live in peace. Can't account for that. Is it that there's just competition in these vaults? There's a competing interest in how they want these vaults run that keeps it afloat? Because every other vault story sounds like a horror story. There's just no exception almost.
Well, I mean, some last longer than others. I think Fallout 76 is furthest down in the timeline, I guess I would say.
Right.
Where,
Yeah.
you wake up in a vault that did survive until that point. It just depends on how long they last, I guess.
Yeah, Vault 101 lasted a long time. The only reason they opened at all was because of the events of the main character's parents creating some actions where they left the vault and then caused some chaos. And then you leave the vault looking for your dad, very much the way Lucy leaves looking for her dad. But yeah, Vault 101 worked very well for many, many years and didn't have any plans to reopen at all. There was no reclamation day. Nothing like that. Their plan was to stay sealed forever.
This is your life, period.
Yeah.
Follow-up question on all of that, which is essentially a Stephanie question. Because as a result of seeing her past, which is something that we were hoping we would get to see, Canada, her origin, do you feel in some way, sympathetic towards her?
Yes. I know Rachel's going to say no, but yes.
I am curious.
I am going to say no.
Rachel hates Stephanie.
I have a better understanding of her actions, but it doesn't make them right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, her mom literally told her, don't think of them as human, think of them as American, which obviously they hate Americans.
I don't blame them.
Right. But especially in the Fallout universe, like, I kind of don't blame you. But all of her actions afterwards are based off of, I think, what her mom told her to do. Anything you have to do to survive. And that's what she's been doing this whole time. And she had a pretty cush position, especially as overseer of 32. And she's doing something nefarious instead of just running a successful community. She could have easily survived and thrived in that environment. I don't know what her plan is, but she's doing something behind the scenes having to do with this keepsake box, and forcing a marriage kind of became her downfall a little bit.
I have a lot of thoughts. Okay, there's something you need to know about me. I want to feel sympathetic towards her. I want to feel sympathetic towards most people. There's like, okay, give me a glimmer. Okay, yes. I can see where you're coming from. Yes. I still won't give you money, but I see where you're coming from. Do you know, like that kind of feeling? You're like,
You have my respect.
I have sense,
but not my money.
I want to talk to you. Let's try to make peace. When I look at Stephanie, I'm like, okay, I see where you came from, but it looks like you're still running. What's your end game? What does safety look like for Stephanie? I'll even go as far as to saying, I think part of her shtick is exactly what you're saying, Karina. She's the overseer. How much more safe do you want to be?
Yeah.
What would it take to make you feel safe? So is it that even at all? Is it that original impetus of you needing to create this false identity was so that you can escape? And now that you've escaped and that identity has crumbled, who are you now? That is a big deal. Because when that evaporates, how do you reconcile all the things that you've ever done to get to this point? How do you look back at your wake and see, oh, is that who I am? A person can tell you you have to do what you need to do to survive, But when you've survived, after you survived, how do you deal with, okay, a continuation on All Quiet is on the Western Front? Because what was that about? That was about doing what you felt you needed to do to win the war. It had everything to do with trench warfare and how horrible or horrifying it was for the people who were there, didn't make it, survived, and then those who survived who came back. And so it literally describes Stephanie's experience.
Okay.
It's interesting. Well, and okay, who is the one who introduces that concept? But Hank. Whose keepsake box is it? Hank's keepsake box.
Yeah.
Okay. One last thing I want to bring up. What could be inside Hank's keepsake box? You find out she gets the job through Hank. Do they maybe have some sort of special arrangement? And what could that arrangement be?
I really have no clue what's in that keepsake box whatsoever.
Yeah, no clue.
I'm with you.
I hope it's a new water chip.
Yes.
And she just keeps it as a bargaining tool.
That's just mean.
What did she do to Woody? That's what I want to know. Where is
what
he
happened
actually?
to him? I'm so worried.
I hope he's okay.
Oh, he's dead.
Well, he doesn't need his glasses anymore,
But he's
guys.
dead.
Well, he could
I
have just
disagree.
dropped them and then she threw them in the sink.
I think she gave him the FEV, and I don't think you need glasses anymore after the FEV.
No,
Well,
yeah.
if he comes back as a super mutant.
Yeah.
That's worse.
I do want to
than
see a
being
Woody
dead.
with enhanced strength.
If he's still alive, would that redeem Stephanie for any of you guys? A little bit?
I mean,
A little, yeah.
well,
Maybe.
yeah, because right now
she
we're
didn't kill
assuming
him.
that she killed him, and like that's pretty ruthless and unnecessary because he's really not a threat. He's just so like, oh no, I accidentally overheard this very serious thing, and then went directly to the person that it was about to tell them about it. And I'm like,
person to that person.
yeah, I'm going to report you to you because I don't know what else to do. How threatening is that really? Again, she has total control over 33. There's no inter-vault communication except through her. What was going to happen? She could have told him anything and he would have just believed her. I don't know why she needed to disappear him.
The fact that she told everybody that he was on a special mission in Vault 31, maybe she stuck him in a pod and he's frozen.
Hopefully, best case scenario. Yeah. But then she would also
need his
know
glasses in there either.
That everyone is gone. Well, they already knew that Bud was gone. Yeah, they already knew that.
Well, that might be why she's in an especially foul mood.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe she did find out and now she's freaking out about it.
It could be interesting because she might have done the same thing that Bud Askins did to himself, I guess, ish. where now Woody is a brain in a Roomba. It could make sense. Okay, well, we have the parts.
To what end? Why?
I don't know. What good was he as a human?
Why not just kill him at that point?
Listen, I need a brain on a Roomba. I want it. Isn't that most people who have Roombas? They're not a really good replacement for an actual vacuum cleaner. Like a cool little toy. So it's Woody,
Are they not?
and he's
I've
pretty
never used a
entertaining.
Roomba.
People get very attached to their Roombas. I know that much. They name them and then they send them for repairs and stuff. And the repair technicians have to like prove that it's the same Roomba because they get so attached that I need my dust bunny eater back or whatever you call it. You know what I mean?
Veronica,
yeah.
But Woody's just called Woody. He has just a little bit more personality. That's okay. That's all.
Sounds like something
I can understand Dave needing the brain on a Roomba because he got attached.
Yeah, very. Temperature check update on Stephanie and my feelings for her. They're going down. The more that she's turning into an actual person for me with trauma.
Yeah, ruining it with
no, not for me.
with
not
backstory,
for me.
with humanization.
She's still high up there for me.
Still high.
It's not going down.
I'll live vicariously through that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back, guys. I'm back. Jason's holding a torch.
Oh my gosh.
Since we're on human experimentation, why don't we move on to a topic that I think everybody's raring to go on? Thaddeus.
He's becoming a centaur.
We're meant to believe that he's becoming a centaur. And I don't think it's impossible. Yeah. And I'll say why. Most people online that I've seen and myself are thinking he can't be a centaur because that's not how you become one of those. You get put into a vat with other creatures and you fuse together with those other creatures in a vat of the FEV. I wish I could claim that I thought of this myself, but I didn't. I did see a theory that the injection that he got contained DNA that had been affected by the FEV, and therefore he has foreign DNA in his body. Yeah, and therefore he may actually be becoming a centaur by way of the injection because it had the DNA from some other creature or creatures in it. I'm not ruling it out. It's definitely looking a lot more plausible considering the arm fell off. Centaurs don't have
Just right
arms.
off.
The
And the
arm
mouth
falling
on
off.
his chest, yeah, like
Yeah.
that thing is very telling.
Yeah, is that a thing?
That's very
it's,
centaur-like.
it's like right on his
Yeah.
collarbone.
Ugh, yeah.
I lean heavily into the centaur theory because it's growing teeth. If you look at a centaur where their arms were, it has a set of teeth right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why
There's
there's a
teeth
certain
all over their
detail kind of
chest and
looking at
everything.
that.
I feel bad for him if that is what's happening because it's a horrific creature.
Yes, it is.
He's such a likable guy. I just don't really want that for him, but something's definitely happening and it's not a ghoul and it's not a super mutant.
No.
So
No, the ghoul was concerned when he saw
yeah, he was
the
like
mouth on his...
genuinely like, what
No.
is that? Like,
So if he is turning into this thing, are we going to lose Thaddeus as a character, or will he still sort of be himself?
I doubt that. Centaurs, they don't really talk. They just sort of
Yeah.
are
Aw.
creatures running around the wasteland. They've got tentacles for mouths. They're pretty
If
awful.
you
We
saw
really need
a
to pull up a picture.
of what a
Yeah,
centaur was,
Yeah, they
they're
do look
really
really
horrific.
bad.
It's like a blob with a head on it.
I
It's
do have a little
nasty.
bit more to pile on, actually. I looked up a particular centaur and it was the master of all super mutants. It could be that. It still looks like a centaur, but this thing is called Master or the Master of Super Mutants.
Oh,
Or simply Master.
from Fallout 1, the Master? Does he look like a dripping goopy head? Because that's what the Master is.
It's-
Okay.
Yeah, somewhat. So the race would be post-human cybernetic FEV mutant. Affiliation is Vault City. Unity, Children of the Cathedral is where that really is from, the affiliation there.
I'm pretty sure that's the plot of the first game. He's like the main bad guy orchestrating everything.
Ah, okay. So yeah, mentioned in Fallout 2, 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout role-playing game, Fallout Tactics, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, appearances, Fallout, the first one, and then Fallout Wasteland Warfare. So yeah, the original Fallout. Let me just read this blurb just because it's kind of crazy. It's just all over the place. The Master of Super Mutants, or simply the Master, referred to by the Children of the Cathedral as the Holy Flame, Dark God, and Father Hope. I'd like that for Thaddeus, at least in words.
Right.
Obviously, it's Fallout, so it's an inversion.
Yeah.
Was the founder and leader of the Unity, a mutant-led organization dedicated to the post-humanist transformation of mankind in the post-nuclear world. Pause, because wasn't the super mutant that saved the ghoul, essentially, from that hole in his gut? He was talking about an upcoming conflict, and their kind, and they, and kin. There's something to this, maybe, and if Thaddeus is in some way connected to that in some form or fashion, that would be kind of cool. By the time he was encountered by the Vault Dweller, the Master was a hybridized amalgamation of several dozens of humans and other mutants, as well as the Cathedral's computer network. There's like a screenshot of this thing melded to a computer.
Yeah,
a
it's
Vault
pretty
computer.
weird.
It's very weird. Speaking in multiple voices and switching between them on the fly, the Master's end goal was to create a new race from humanity using FEV, one that could thrive in the post-apocalyptic conditions of the world and to rid humanity of its differences and reasons for waging war. Shocker.
Right.
When
It's
we're
a
talking
common
about factions all
theme.
day.
Yeah.
Yep. The Master's race of mutants would be dubbed super mutants, colloquially by most, and would become a permanent presence throughout California and neighboring areas, and a long-lasting reminder of the Master's attempt to reform humanity. Born Richard Moreau, he would later change his name to Richard Gray while still human. That's like Robert Gray. So welcome to I'm kidding, sorry.
Yeah.
While still human. A variety of names used to refer to him by his followers include Holy Flame, Dark God, Father Hope, and others. The Master is the main antagonist of Fallout, encountered at the Cathedral. Destroying him is required to eliminate the mutant threat, although meeting the Master in person is entirely optional. Interesting. This is from fallout.fandom.com. I'll include a resource at some point. Probably never, because that's my life now.
It would be hilarious because he's such a non-leader. Like, you can imagine him like this weird, dripping, goopy face Thaddeus connected to a computer. Just be
Oh.
like, oh, hey guys, I think maybe we should rebel against all the regular people. Like, you know, what do you think?
I wasn't going to mention this, but to dovetail to your sentiment right there, I've been noticing throughout many episodes, he doesn't swear at all.
No, he doesn't.
He even goes, holy crow. Things
crow.
where like a swear word would be inserted by default. Is that a result from being around the children all the time? I don't maybe.
know.
I think it's just who he is.
I don't know. Yeah.
know if he
I
was
have to go
always that
back
way.
to when we first met him to see if
Yeah.
he swore even in the first season.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah. I
recall,
wonder.
but
I can't
it's not
remember,
something I was looking for.
honestly.
Or maybe it's like that whole, after that conversation he has with Maximus about If I was living in a vault on a mountain of food, I would be nice too, or I'd be a good person too. And maybe there's that, I'm kind of manifesting it, even though I'm not of it kind of thing. Because Lucy doesn't, she says fudge all the time.
Yeah.
She doesn't swear either. Or maybe the FEV is just permanently screwed with him on a fundamental level, even psychologically. Entirely possible too, because I think when he gets the arrow through his neck, he goes, "Oh no!" Like, I don't know what else he says after that, but it didn't seem bad. He wasn't very angry about it.
Because Max
So,
is like, I think you're a
thought he
ghoul,
was
and he's
dead
like,
for a
oh
moment.
no,
oh,
oh man.
I have a treat to show you though, because the best part about all of this is his interactions with the ghoul, and it's the faces the ghoul makes.
He's so annoyed.
It's less annoyed.
Probably horrified because he gives him some pretty shocked expressions.
This was a very expressive episode for the ghoul.
Yeah, it was.
He sees the mouth on his chest and he's just like, "What?
Dude."
Oh, that's disgusting.
It is.
Now wait, it gets better, because you see the arm. Do you guys want to pick apart the details of this arm?
That
in
it's
any
not
way?
bleeding.
It looks like
It just
it's
kinda
like
rotted
molded off. He
Yeah.
obviously is not in any pain. And the arm itself doesn't look
almost
dead,
fungal.
just the joint part of it, because the rest of it's still like very pink and fresh looking, you know?
Did he lose feeling in his arm prior to this falling off, or
Apparently
was it just so
not.
sudden?
Yeah, like just didn't notice it whatsoever. And he's like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me get myself together.
You know, you're
Lost
bringing
an
up a
arm.
good point, because what if his arm just decides to become its own sentient being,
Right?
God.
Like, does it
and he
just
treats it like a
heal
kid
itself?
or something?
Oh my gosh. Like a
Oh my
clone
gosh,
of
what was that
himself.
90s movie? Idle Hands.
Yeah, which is a take on an old black and white movie that was somewhat similar. Here's the ghoul's reaction to that happening. That
His eyes are even bigger. Yeah.
It's like,
right.
what?
It's like the first one was kind of like, this one's like, oh, should I be afraid of what this is? Because
I don't know. I kind of have this idea that he knows what's going on with Thaddeus and just doesn't, in his fashion, say anything about it. I've complained that he doesn't explain himself ever. So, yeah, he may know
did
what's
do
happening.
a lot of explaining this episode.
Yeah, he did. But
He went through the rigmarole of why he needed to give him the cold fusion and the weapons, and like, if you want to get, and then you have to give it to a bad person.
yeah,
Where normally he'd be like, Lucy, shut the hell up. Shut up, dummy. Which I
well, he
love
still
that for us.
called him out for asking a lot of questions too. Like,
True.
did.
Some things never change. War.
Well, I
for
think him
instance.
not explaining or telling Thaddeus what's going on, even though I'm pretty sure he knows, it has to do with, if I tell him exactly what's going on with him, that's going to slow us down so much, because this is going to cause an issue.
No more side quests.
assuming he's gonna freak out a little bit. Yeah, like
Yeah, probably.
yeah. And also, what's the point if you can't stop it from happening? He seems fine with it and not overly concerned, even when his arm falls off. Probably let's just go with that and let him believe he's still turning into a ghoul, because he seems cool with that. Like,
We've already gotten used to one reality.
yeah.
Why not be okay and let it slide that he's going to turn into a goopy mess, essentially?
Yeah, who
Oh
knows?
my gosh.
I'd be a wreck if my arm just fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
Stranger
that you'd be
things.
referring to it as a medical episode. Like,
No.
I think you'd be a
No,
lot
I
more
assume
like
I'm
cursing and
dying.
screaming.
I seem to be having a medical episode. This is
What's his
normal, right?
What's his name who plays Thaddeus? He does such a great job of just keeping that tone.
Johnny Pemberton,
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Superstore Bo. Which, by the way, if you want to see that, it's on everything. It's on
Mm.
Peacock and whatnot. It's a great show.
It is a good show. While we're looking at the ghoul's face right here, am I crazy? I feel like every episode he's slightly less ghoulish. I feel like his face used to be even more textured than it is now. Obviously, his eyes are very sunken in, but if you look just below his cheekbone, I feel like that used to be more sunken in. Even his, this is going to say a lot about me right now. I apologize. But even like his mouth is looking more human.
You mean more
like,
kissable?
I feel like it,
I get it.
I did not say that. You were thinking it. I might have
I
been,
see
but-
what you're talking about. I can still see there's one specific
shadow.
spot under his cheekbone that casts quite a shadow, and I think it has to do with the lighting.
Yes.
He's not under direct lighting in this one, so I think it's a little less obvious. Also, when he's expressing a little bit more, these are prosthetics that we're looking at. They're going to stretch and move and possibly
Sure.
look a little less textured if he's pulling more of a face, which, he's not usually that expressive in a lot of his scenes.
Yeah.
He's kind of got this straight face kind of look. So I don't think that it's necessarily a conscious choice on them transitioning him to be less ghoulish. Either that or it's a psychological thing that's happening to us because we've been staring at his face for an entire season and learning more and more of his personality and humanizing him a little bit more.
That's entirely possible.
We're used to the ghoul face now.
He's wallpaper.
Yeah.
He's
I don't think he's turning back into a human by any means. But for some reason, I feel like episode by episode, he's getting a little bit less ghoulish. So by the time he sees Janie, he's not as terrifying looking.
Right.
I think either way that's going to go bad.
That'd be cool.
Ideally.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a nose,
ideally.
so
I mean, I know, but when you add everything else on there, I don't know. I think about it every now and then, but I haven't done it to compare how he looked in season 1 to now.
That huge chunk of radiation do something. That
Maybe,
was a big piece
yeah.
that he got put inside of him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
it's possible he rejuvenated a little bit.
That'd be a big twist for Fallout to cure ghoulism.
Oh, right. That's not a thing.
A big chunk of uranium.
I don't think that's coming.
Right.
That would be wonderful for all the ladies in the world.
I think we've mentioned it before, the fact that he's still wearing his cowboy outfit that he had on when the bombs fell. It's just very, very dirty, and the hat used to be white and now it's covered in the wasteland, likely because he wants his daughter to be able to recognize him, even though I think it says something very poetic about the fact that he's wearing the same outfit so she'll recognize him, but even the outfit is become unrecognizable as well as his face.
Yep.
So I don't think any effort that he makes to be recognizable to her is going to work.
The blue of his outfit and his collar did show a lot when he was impaled on the pole last episode. You saw him riding around. You could really
That's what I was
see
gonna
the
say.
outfit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably more than any other episode. And it works too because what is he saying? He's saying his name like Roger did.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah,
forget
yeah.
Roger.
Yeah.
And and also, who is his wife? Who's his daughter? And there's the outfit. The first thing you actually see as a normal person. Sorry, I'm against ghouls as he's carrying his daughter away. I do want to see the first episode again because there was that scene where the raiders or whoever is tasked to get the ghoul, when we see him for the first time at the end of that first episode, I think too, there's so much dialogue there that needs revisiting. Also, I'd like to see Moldaver's raiding of the vault to kind of see how that went down, and maybe we can glean some details that didn't make sense at the time, but maybe they make more sense now. Just little things that we kind of threw over our shoulder just because it's weird and it's Fallout, but maybe it isn't as weird or Fallout than it is actually.
Okay, so season 1 watch party. All right.
Sure, exactly. Or
Start
just
from
at
the
least
beginning.
the first episode. The first episode's just full of things just you think are going to be fully explained, but not everything feels fully explained. I don't know.
I was just thinking with my notes on this particular episode, and as we continue into season 2, I'm having to explain a lot less because we're sort of immersed in this world now. And I remember, especially the first few episodes of the first season, having to explain everything because none of the people in the podcast had played the games before. Now we do have other people who've played the games. So I'm taking less and less notes about game specific things and more notes about what's happening in the series, which is not what I used to do.
Okay.
More.
I wish I was
in-game
around back
references.
then. I wish I would have watched your old breakdowns.
You still can.
That would have been fun.
I mean, yeah, you still can.
Yeah, you can still go back. In the Wayback Machine. Well, let's get into some of those things because why don't we just cover some of the things we ended up seeing in the hangar of all those weapons?
Well, they show like 2 or 3 guns, right? That were probably in the game.
One did look like a railgun.
Okay, so the gun that you're talking about that the ghoul ends up taking is called a Gauss rifle. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but it is Gauss, Gauss rifle.
You are, yeah. That was also in Halo, so you're saying it right.
Oh, yeah, Gauss rifle. Okay, it's one of the best energy weapons that you can get in the game. It uses magnetic momentum transfer to hyper-accelerate projectiles. It's named after the German mathematician Carl Friedrich Gauss. Yeah, it's a type of railgun. A lot of gamers would probably be very excited to see that. At least I was, because when you find it in the game, you're like, "Ooh, a treasure!" And so you're really excited about it. It's just like he was, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is good." Ooh,
It was putting some damage on that Deathclaw too.
It's definitely
gouging
one of the
into it.
most effective weapons. And then, of course, we have our faction-specific power armor, which we haven't seen yet. We've only seen the Brotherhood of Steel version of it, and this is, of course, an NCR version. In Fallout 4, at least, I don't think in New Vegas you can. I don't recall being able to customize power armor. In Fallout 4, you can customize every part of your power armor, and different factions will have different designs for the power armor. The NCR one, of course, has the NCR Ranger helmet we've seen in the past on other characters.
Especially in the end credit scene.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah, quite a few.
Thaddeus had some kind of a sniper rifle or something.
Oh, yeah, he was saying how he needed a scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't pay attention to every specific weapon, just certain ones. On previous episodes, I saw that Max was using a laser pistol, and I pointed that out as well during that time. So when I see obvious ones that they're drawing our attention to for one reason or another, I want to point that out. But there was quite a few weapons. I'm sure that they are all directly from the game, but a lot of the weapons are very common looking weapons, sniper rifles, handguns, shotguns, that type of thing.
Well, on the heels of that, your favorite sound was in the show.
My worst
The suicide
fear.
bomber in the past.
Suicide bomb, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
You heard
Pick
it
up
for
the USMC
seconds.
T-45 armor, right?
Yeah, the T-45.
Head back, hosers.
I paused on that to make sure that it was actually a person, and it was a person. It was a human that ran at them. Because when it happened, I was like, super mutant suicide or what?
Trauma.
And I was like, no, it wasn't
Right,
that.
pure trauma.
Okay.
Just sounded like one.
I have a couple of factoids about this, which kind of blew my mind. Okay, do you remember when you were talking about Uranium Fever and like, oh, it can't be a real song? How can it be?
Yeah.
It is, obviously. I mentioned
Yeah.
it. I'm not going to go into that song, though it is very interesting.
I know what you're going to talk about, because I wrote notes.
Uranium City.
Yes.
Uranium City is an actual real life city in the real world
It
that we
is.
inhabit. And it's based on obviously the one in the show and the games. It's in northern Saskatchewan province, obviously, in Canada. It was originally founded in the 1950s to house workers at the local uranium mines.
Oh.
Crazy. This blew
Yeah.
my mind. Yes, this was a real thing. It's like the gold rush, except it was uranium fever.
Yep.
That's what it was. Everybody had uranium fever because obviously we're in a Cold War.
In the games, Uranium City became a Ghoul nation because of the name of the city. It was hit by over 212 nuclear strikes. So they bombed the crap out of it.
That's
And
hilarious.
What?
so it became a
a
Ghoul
lot of
nation,
overkill.
obviously. So, I know, it seems like a lot. It was actually part of like a game that didn't actually release. So they are saying that possibly the Big 51 is going to be a DLC or add-on content for Fallout 76 in the future. Now, I have no idea if that's going to be real or not, but it would be interesting that they bring it back from a concept that
Fallout
never
6.
made it into reality. Like, I'll be 80 years old by the time I get Fallout 6. Yeah.
They still got to make
Oh.
Fallout 5.
I heard video games keep you nimble in the mind. It's a real study. Hand-eye coordination. The coolest old people ever. I hope.
We'll see.
Making references nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And then we'll have to make a podcast about what the crazy lady says today. I'll also be there, obviously, because I'll be older than you and dead, probably. Anyway, Uranium City is also an internment camp because annexed Canada, 51st state, there are rebels, factions trying to rebel against being absorbed by the US. What's crazy is the end sequence says a couple of things. In the background, you are now entering the Big 51 sign, moving backwards from the end. The hung Mounties, the mounted police,
Obvious
Yeah.
Mounties, yeah.
the power armor that's laying on the floor in various conditions. I heard that that's the T-51 power armor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like a later model.
remember
I didn't
which.
pay that close of attention, but yeah,
Mhm.
it'd be 45 and then I think 51 afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, there's little things that say a lot. One of the signs that says welcome to Canada, it's crossed out, says Little America,
Mhm.
right? A little factoid about Canada. Canada's population is only 11 million, which is, I think, the entire population of New York City. So just to
That's
kind of give you
crazy.
perspective. So when they say Little America, it kind of is.
Yeah, population wise.
Big area, little people. The road closed sign is spray painted over with the words, "It was always ours."
Oh, wow.
Yeesh. And then another sign says, "Crush the Canucks."
I could see why Stephanie doesn't like American. Starting to understand it a
Yeah.
little bit better.
Makes sense.
You mentioned the whole Ghoul Nation, which is
Mhm.
interesting because that would be kind of like a way of, sometimes they call Native Americans Navajo Nation,
Mhm.
kind of a interesting touch to that. I wanted to go back to the Ghoul because one thing that we need to keep the ball on is a question that I asked in the other episode, which was, just because he's all healed up with uranium in his little belly doesn't mean he might not go feral. Also, it's good to keep our eye on that because this episode made us mind erase that a little.
Yeah, we just forgot
he
about
took
it a
the
little
drugs,
bit.
I assume.
I think he's got his drugs back because he's got his pack and everything.
Yeah.
Discussing
It's
it
not
before.
reversible, right?
As long as you're taking the suppressing drugs, I think it's fine. Because when he went to Roger, Roger was asking him, do you have any drugs? And Cooper didn't want to give him any, I think, because he was keeping them for himself. And so he just sort of got rid of him. I don't know that it's not reversible when it gets to that point. I don't know the specifics because I feel like the show is sort of writing the rules on this because in the games we only see a ghoul that is sentient or one that is feral and we don't see the transition at any point. It doesn't really give us any information on that.
We're like spoon-fed the Walking Dead mythology, so we're like, we're experts on this. We know exactly what's happening. I'm kind of just going by the fact that can you recover from actual atrophy, muscle atrophy, or I don't know,
brain atrophy? I
don't know. It's like plaque.
As long as you're aware enough to take it, then you can come back from it. Once you're so far gone that you're not taking the suppressant anymore, if you go full feral, you're not even looking for it. You're just feral now.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I'd be curious to know if you gave a feral ghoul the suppression drugs, would it do anything or is it too late at that point?
Oh.
See, this is my point.
They need to answer.
It had to have been tried.
Maybe
at some point.
Maybe.
Well, how can you force them to take it because it's an inhalant and they have to be sort of willing to do that and they're too busy trying to eat your face. So
good point.
Is it not able to be injected? Probably.
I have no idea.
Get them with a syringe.
Sure that never happens.
Test it out.
See, I guess it couldn't happen.
Just start writing the writers and be like, you need to answer these questions.
We'll tell you in episode. Show, don't tell.
Karina, was it a syringer that he used on Lucy 2 episodes ago? To try and knock her out before she hit him with the power fist?
Probably.
It's a parallel.
I would think so, yeah.
It was in my notes. I never got to mention it.
Oh.
Because that's what she tries to do in Philly, remember?
Yeah, it didn't work on him.
Also, interesting. Okay. Another parallel is she's in that store. She takes out the not shopkeeper. And it's the same scenario. You have all these little weapons on the walls. Just don't do it. Same thing as Ma June, except the end result is the opposite, right? She doesn't shoot Ma June, even though she is close to, or not at all. I mean, she could have, but she's Lucy and she just got out of vault and she doesn't know any better. And as a result, she's being nice, Ma June. So
she was on drugs too when she shot that guy. So that's when she finally started to question who she's becoming on these substances. Chems. I really wish they would have referred to them as chems more than drugs because that's how they're described in the game. So I'm not really sure why they decided to not call them that because they've stuck so closely to everything else in the game.
Walton Goggins sounds really fun when he says
drugs.
See, thank you. I got a unanimous support.
Lucy's very conflicted in this episode. I feel bad for her. She's really stuck between a rock and a hard place with what's going on, with what she's seeing, who's doing it, what is the right thing here. Everybody is getting along and they seem happy, but is it real? It becomes very obvious. She knows that it's not right when she sees the squirrel guy, right?
Biff, NCR Biff.
And she's like, don't you remember when we met? And he's like,
the other day when...
Yeah. So before, I think Hank said, these take away all the terrible memories and horrible circumstances of up top. But meeting her wasn't a horrible experience. So she's realizing all of their memories are gone, whether they're good, bad, everything in between. They're just not themselves anymore. They have no memories. I think that was kind of what pushed her over the edge. This is definitely not right.
Well, it's the who, too, because let's inject this thing, because one of the things that gets her on side is seeing the legionary that almost strangled her. Lifted her up by her neck, I think it was. And she stabs a pencil in his underarm, and that didn't stop him. And she got free, etc. She sees him mopping the floors, and she's like, well, there is the Legion, and they make them slaves of a variety, and they crucify people, and they're kind of a menace. So maybe you're not wrong. Again, it's cool what this show does. It shows you Stephanie's trauma, a person who you kind of don't like unless you're very attracted to her.
Jason.
Hold for applause. And then you see this genuine, obviously you like Lucy, as annoying as she is, you are meant to like her. She is your protagonist. And then when you see her seeing the guy who just assaulted her, who represents a larger traumatizing force, who just had crucified her episodes prior, days before, you can see trauma in her eyes when she sees this guy. She has a flashback. Yeah, these guys, what they represent is horrible. And maybe this is better off. You see Biff, you see the memories are erased. He didn't do anything wrong. The NCR is only mildly problematic at times. To your point, Karina, I agree with that actually too. You know, perfect is the enemy of good. Hank said it himself in this episode, interestingly enough. So NCR, you can't throw the baby out of the bathwater. That's the real world. For you to be this optimistic in such a deeply, how do you even have optimism kind of world? That's saying something. Actually, it's like Diane Welch in an organization in a way. It's like what we said the other day. Diane Welch is the answer to, well, would you choose a politician that gets nothing done? Even Cooper calls her out. She's like, you're not winning people over. You're not getting the job done.
Just getting some job done now.
Why are you so bad at it? That was unfair. I was personally upset about what happened to Diane.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't care about her until that moment. And I was like, oh, I she deserves that.
I am going all over the place. That's my bad. I like how we resolve the problem of the trade-off problem. It's like, okay, you may not like the NCR's false promises, and they may have expansionist tendencies. Hank wasn't wrong. At least there's that. But then there's the Legion. There's things that are obviously wrong. And what's right and wrong in the wasteland, you can make that argument in a world that has no God. A godless world means what is now important for your own bodily integrity to be maintained. I don't know.
Survival.
Maybe hurting others is the way. Right, Rachel? Get them before they get you? Remember? It's a long-standing argument.
Yep.
Anyway, I say all this to say it's interesting to see Lucy vacillate between agreeing with Hank and not agreeing with Hank. This is more of a question because it's getting me too as a viewer. In a world where I would be like, no, I'd never. You watching her kind of suffer that trauma kind of gets me going, well, maybe them. Maybe Legion. Maybe the Legionaries. I don't know.
I think it's a very true experience of playing the game as well. I've mentioned before, choosing a faction can have consequences. It can have benefits. I glossed over the idea that you personally are going to vacillate, as you say, before making a choice to choose one side or another or to help a specific faction because they may have really appealing ideas the way Hank is showing her. All these factions can be at peace. Look at these horrible legionnaires, made them peaceful people and kind people. And part of her wants to say like, well, yeah, of course the Legion is terrible. But as you were saying before, what did Biff do? He wasn't a bad guy. And we're sort of forcing this on him too. And you can almost tell she must be thinking, is it possible to only assimilate the people that I deem bad? Who gets to choose that? Or do you let everyone have the freedom to be as awful as they want to be, whatever consequence that may have? And struggling with the weight of that decision. It's a very common thing in all of the games to experience. Fallout 4 has a similar situation with the Institute. You go through the wasteland and everyone says that they're evil, and then you actually come in contact with the leader of the Institute and you start to recognize what they're doing and why they're doing it. They get a chance to explain themselves. And some of the things make sense, and you have to decide whether or not they're worth siding with or not. It's a weighty decision, and there are many of them throughout all of the games. So I think that's a very appropriate theme for the episode and for the show.
Where did the lady go that Biff was with?
We don't know.
I don't know.
Lady.
The other soldier. Yeah.
Captain Rodriguez.
When I saw Biff down there, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
he
I
must
don't
have
know.
got the other lady too.
Obviously, after their encounter with the Ghoul and Lucy, they decided finally to head out. Maybe she tried to reconnect with other NCR people, and maybe on the way, or maybe she's dead to that end. And the legionary that they both must have either caught together, maybe they were together and Hank or the snake oil salesman caught them together with the other raiders that were also converted. I could just see it now. All these people and now these new employee outfits just tackling these legionaries.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Biff is obviously, he's like, they took my squirrel.
Right.
And then he's like left defenseless. I did want to say one thing about that because Hank is the one to say perfect is the enemy of good. And that kind of goes both ways, the NCR. When he's teaching Lucy to drive the golf cart and he says something to the effect of, I really wish we had a normal life, sugar bomb. And all the stuff that we're talking about centers around this one line because we talked about trade-offs on and off and all that stuff. Deciding to help someone or to join a faction, it's all about trade-offs. But she says, we did, Dad, and you wrecked it. That is a pregnant phrasing for us as viewers, because...
Where's Bridget?
No, it's more Rachel. Bridget hates when I say putting a stake on it, but Rachel hates the pregnant because... Anyway, I don't know. So isn't it true to a large degree that people's concept of normal is different? You may have grown up a certain way and that was normal to you. Look at Thaddeus and Maximus talking about their life amongst the Brotherhood of Steel. And even Thaddeus's taskmaster role with these children, it's kind of a father figure and they're happy to be there. And they don't know that they're being abused for their labor. They're just, most kids our age would be dead, is basically what they're saying. But that's their normal. To them, this is like this loving father figure. And that's what children just do. And so she's just basically saying, in our own relatively, like, we can actually grasp this normal. For all intents and purposes, their life was normal. It's not Starbucks and driving cars and vacations and work and the doldrums that we're used to, but they made a normal life for themselves. Yeah. And so you transport that to the wasteland, it's also the same thing.
Sure. He says this to her while he's teaching her how to drive.
Doing normal stuff.
Yeah.
Normal for him.
That's sort of where he was saying, because he remembers 200 years ago. He remembers cars. He remembers driving.
Exactly what I mean.
He wished he could have taught Lucy how to drive in a real car. I thought it was quite sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I knew what he meant. Obviously, Lucy would have no idea what's a golf cart. She didn't even know what a motorized vehicle is.
I thought you would like that scene, by the way.
I did like it.
For like the obvious reasons.
I know. You got to remember that Hank's a dillweed, but it was a very sweet moment.
And he was a good father for all of his failings.
Sure. Absolutely. Good father, bad person.
Good father. I love comparing Hank to the Ghoul because there's just so much play there. He was a good father, but look what he became.
Well,
etc. Look what he's willing to do to get what he needs or wants.
Dennis Rader's kids said he was a good dad too, and he was a bad person.
Wait, what'd you say? Who's that?
Dennis Rader, BTK.
I don't know.
He was a serial killer.
You don't know who BTK is? Like,
I don't actually. Yeah,
wow.
Sorry.
Just looking at that.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's a good opportunity. See, you ask questions all the time. We're like, yeah, okay, well, I'm happy to answer. And that's the greater point I'm trying to make. We did have a normal life. You ruined it. That was normal for me. Actually, and when you grasp what they had in the vaults, in Vault 33, they did have a wonderful life. Even Norm kind of brings it up when he's calling out for Lucy. In the process, he says, Dad, where are you? Is our vault going to be okay? Why didn't you tell us the truth? It would have been fine. Isn't that interesting? Just like you were a good dad.
About the water trip?
Well, Bud kind of alludes at the end of the last season and the beginning of this one that he sees his cryopod.
Vault 31.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously there's things that he hasn't talked to him about. Obviously he's a person from the past. He learns about these trainees. They're from the past as well. Everybody from Vault 31 obviously is from the past. So he figures out probably that Betty Pearson is one as well. There's something to that. Had he just been upfront about it, I think it would have been all right, actually. But the fact that he probably had to gaslight everybody in his life that he loves and gave a normal life was the problem. It was not normal because it was against what he taught them. To be open and honest and forthcoming and give people a chance to explain themselves and work it out. Because that's what you had to do, right? Going right back to the first part of our discussion, which was you kind of have to figure it out in a vault in order to survive, or else you get a Reg situation. Let's not forget about that guy.
Oh gosh.
Where is he, by the way? Same fate. Betty Pearson murdered him.
Right. I don't think she did.
Right in mirror. Maybe they both gave them the FEV. Like Reg and Woody are now super mutants.
Oh my
essentially.
gosh.
She kicked them out in the wasteland.
Dave, I don't know if you saw earlier, I sent a picture to you of what a centaur looks like.
Oh, gosh.
Horrible, right?
This image probably looks more accurate to what Thaddeus is currently going through.
That's why I think we're pretty convinced that it's the centaur situation.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
No, I know, which is why I feel bad for him, because I'm like, man.
This is what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, that's the picture I saw too. Yeah.
Yep. That's why I told you I'm so sad if that's what he's turning into.
If that's Thaddeus, then I don't think he remains all that much.
That is not what I pictured.
Okay.
There's teeth on the back too. Look, there's teeth on the back.
There's teeth everywhere.
Oh, okay.
My gosh.
He grows
even
new
the feet
arms.
Are hands.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. got
call
like
that.
His
Hey, he's not gonna
DNA
be able
is
to say,
rewriting
"Hey, guys."
itself, so it's getting rid of the limbs it
Yeah.
doesn't need anymore.
I don't
Now,
think
are
that
those
he's going to be able
tentacles
to
or tongues?
talk.
Because they look like tongues.
I
They
think
might
they're
be tongues.
both. They're tongues.
Tongue-ticles.
They're
How
tentacles.
does it-
Yeah.
Okay, do the tentacles have like
Yeah.
control over them? Can they
Yeah,
like
they'll-
strangle
they'll-
people with
I
them?
think so.
Yeah, they'll attack you with them, and
That's
Okay.
very
Wow.
discriminatory to the centaurs.
Okay, how does it eat?
you know, I
I
haven't
mean, it's got
figured
teeth
out
studied
everywhere.
it.
Who knows?
Yeah, I haven't
They have a
really
little
studied.
Mouth on their body.
My gosh.
Why are you complicating things? It's a game.
Okay, so hopefully, maybe Thaddeus won't go full blown monster.
Oh
Maybe
boy.
he got like a micro dose.
Right. I actually think he would be better off to be more of the master version of the mutant, which is not quite a
That's what I was
centaur.
thinking. What is that game? Would you rather? Is that what the game
Yeah,
was called?
yeah.
Would you rather swim in a pool of razor blades or do the
Yeah.
backstroke in a vat of acid that doesn't quite dissolve all of you?
If you had to choose between being a ghoul, a super mutant, or a centaur, what are you going to choose? Well, not that. That's for sure. Like,
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the
Anything but that.
What's the other one? Boff, marry, kill?
What's the first word you used?
Bonk.
It's not F.
Boff.
buff.
Say that word again.
Boff.
Oh, boff. B-O-F-F.
Buff.
Yeah.
I have
Oh,
not
I thought you said
heard
bonk.
somebody
I was like, that word.
use sexy time for boff.
Right.
That's
Boff.
what they say on
Would be
30 Rock.
Oh,
I
okay.
see.
Yeah. Boff, marry, kill.
Gotcha.
Off, marry, kill. All right, we'll move on now. It's in my brain cells now. Talking about the mainframe, we find at the end,
Diane Welch is the mainframe.
yeah, it
Poor
is kind of sort of the way Karina described Robert House in his domain, although that pod in House's domain is nowhere to be found. But going back to Diane Welch, if Cooper put the diode, that's what they're calling it, the cold fusion diode, in House's facility, this is an insight. Is it reasonable to assume that maybe there are two diodes?
Maybe. I'm thinking
Yeah.
more. She's obviously powering all the mind control devices, whatever.
Right.
Him booting up Robert House, basically bringing him back, gives him control of that.
Over
Diane
I was about to
Welch's
say
head.
Martha Kelly, the
Oh,
actor.
you think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing.
Oh, it's the same
Possibly.
facility, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They're
well,
on the same
everything's
building.
connected,
Hmm.
and the point of the fusion cell was to give him control over everything. The platinum
Mhm.
chip was to bolster the security. There were some interesting parallels that someone had brought up about what implications this scene had for the canon ending of New Vegas, because as I was mentioning before, I think they were doing a very good job of avoiding spelling out exactly what happened. This suggests strongly that the Yes Man ending is the canon ending for the game, because at the end, Yes Man uploads himself into the mainframe in place of House. House's consciousness is in the
I did hear
mainframe
that.
already, but without cold fusion, he can't really stay online. He actually crashes all the time, so you're not always able to talk to him. There is a Securitron collapsed on the floor in front of the computer, and that's exactly what happens when Yes Man uploads himself. His body falls to the ground directly in front of the computer. The debate is definitely whether or not Yes Man is using House's face and voice to communicate, or if Victor, the other Securitron that he met earlier, because remember, Victor also is under House's control, possibly came in after the courier left and interrupted Yes Man's upload and stopped him from taking control of everything, which is why everything is such a mess, because Yes Man was supposed to take over running everything in New Vegas. When Cooper put the cold fusion in and booted up the system, House was able to come online immediately. But of course, his body is dead by this point, as suggested by the in-credit scene. We're suggesting that his consciousness is inside the computer, or an AI version of himself is inside the computer. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, but I think it definitely points more towards the canon ending being the Yes Man ending, where you don't side with any faction taking over New Vegas and just let Yes Man do it, only he didn't get to.
I have a feeling that they're going to keep that nebulous too.
Yeah,
Like
for
a
sure.
show don't tell.
You would
It's
think,
obvious
yeah.
that it's that, but you won't get that answer. All you're going to get is what you're seeing now. Because again, it's a new story too, which I think is the good move. I think that's
No, I
probably a
agree.
good idea to not
Well, it keeps everything fluid. It doesn't directly affect anything that came before. You can keep playing it as if it's still canon, and you can also just enjoy it as it is. It works.
Exactly. Because that would be the biggest difficulty of trying to adapt a multi-ending style game into something definitive. It would always upset somebody by going with one ending or another. If they were suggesting that this Yes Man ending was the canon ending, it's the most neutral one possible.
Yeah, don't side with anybody. Everybody's awful. I will say one thing. The NCR is getting a sort of spiritual redemption in many ways this episode. It was very interesting to see the residents of Freeside, despite the Atomic Wranglers bartender or owner having words about the NCR and their taxes, seeing the residents get up in arms when they see Maximus walking down the street with the Ghoul, who also was affiliated with the NCR, but longer time ago. It was kind of interesting. Think about when the Brotherhood of Steel drops down in Philly. They're like, oh, these guys.
Yep.
I guess we better not upset them because they're crazy. Whereas when the representation of the NCR is going down the street, they're just cheering them on. I literally wrote down what they were yelling out. Welcome back and long live the new California Republic. Kill the Death Claws. Get us back our town. And it goes to something that we had mentioned with Ma June. I think it was like 2 episodes ago, how it changed her encounter with Lucy. I'm trying to be a better person. Barv. Yeah, that's the NCR's influence over the Wasteland. I just find that really, really fascinating.
Well, Dave, never underestimate the power of brand recognition.
Nicely done. Which goes to the conversation with Diane Welch. Don't you know how to sell yourself better? But now that I'm thinking about it, I hope that procedure was elective for Diane Welch.
I don't know if it was.
And I doubt it too, yeah.
Think about what Hank said about the mind control device or the mainframe, which she effectively is. He says, depending on the dial is how much amnesia, he said he uses the word amnesia. The effect of the amnesia is on the subject, and everything that is erased of the subject is replaced by more pleasant ideas, is what he says. And if those ideas are coming from Diane Welch, there's just so much here. And this is something that Rachel has said in many series past. The effect of, is there going to be enough time to really drill down on that? It being the penultimate episode, this one that we just watched, and the season finales next week.
There's a lot of unanswered questions.
A lot of spinning plates.
There are some answers we have to have next week. But let's say Diane, for example, I'm okay if we don't get answers about her specifically until next season.
Oh, yeah.
There is a sub-drama that's going on in this podcast where Rachel goes, one more thing. And she goes, I'm okay with not getting that answer. That is a me thing.
I know. But
You're the, I want answers and I want them now.
I do, but I also want fuel for the next season.
Mm-hmm.
I am flabbergasted. That is a me answer if I've ever heard one. I'm losing my mind. All right, fine. You know what, Dave? I'm tired, guys. Can we wrap it up already?
There's 300 questions that need to be answered.
Okay,
if they only
Dave.
get to 299 of them, I'm okay.
Okay, fine. You're right. You're right, Dave. It's fine.
And I'm tired.
And she blew her load on that one thing that is a very Dave thing. That's interesting. Fine. Okay. There is one tiny thing that was said that is not a nothing thing. It was very interesting. I don't know how this is even possible. Betty kind of sort of reveals that she has a spy in Vault 32, which is how she found out about the wedding.
I would say even multiple.
Well, okay. But still, how would they even communicate? Yeah. Why would you even say that?
The communication would be difficult. How are they slipping her notes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Could it be Woody? And it's not as weird as we thought. I just don't know. I have no idea.
Well, not anymore.
Could it be Davey? It's like one of those things where it's the guy who just looks like a complete idiot who has all his S together.
Oh my gosh,
right?
Maybe. Yeah.
You're just getting cold feet.
No, the one who couldn't get his left from his right unconfused.
Yeah. No, just get so turned around. Everything's backwards. I don't know. But it's not a nothing thing. It was said like a nothing thing, as though they're like okay with it. But I'm not okay with it. There are so many parameters that make this impossible. But okay, I guess we'll find out next episode or never. Never. It's like the first episode all over again. The end of the episode is really cool. I'm going to just read out exactly what's happening here. Ghoul and Maximus take down the death claws, which we can get into as a separate thing. The railgun, blah, blah, blah. Okay, then it goes to Ghoul heads to the top of Lucky 38, goes back to the past where the president's limo pulls up.
All the transitions, yeah.
The present, the Ghoul descends the staircase again, like he did in the prior episode. Lucy's perspective at the Vault-Tec R&D, she's driving, she's crashing into walls, and then goes back to Lucky 38, opens the room with the cold fusion prep by pushing the hidden button that we saw in that one episode that House does, like very casually and recklessly. Then it goes to the door opening at the mainframe. You see the side perspective of Lucy. Lucky 38 door opens, also Ghoul's perspective, looking out from inside the room. Then past the limo, Coop meets up with Welch and President, played by Clancy Brown, legend of everything, VO, everything. Coop prepares to hand off the cold fusion. He's reaching into his coat. Lucky 38 pulls that out of his coat and looks at it. Very cool. Mainframe, where Lucy is, we see a forward perspective. She has a bizarre reaction to what she's seeing. Then it's Diane Welch's head connected to Robert House's thinking cap that he was going to live forever with. Right, Karina? You told us that?
Yep.
Back to the limo. Cooper looks at Diane Welch also because she's looking at Welch and everybody's looking at Welch. Diane Welch smiles at him. Mainframe, close up of her head, overhead shot of Lucy in the distance looking at the mainframe. Diane is the mainframe. Oh, Dinah. Okay, and then close up face of Diane Welch. Goes back to the limo. Diane is still smiling at Cooper. He's like, not too sure. Now he's got this, did I do the right thing look.
No, you didn't. I'm sorry.
And the last thing, Lucky 38, the Ghoul places the die onto Robert House's machine. Consoles turn on, boot up. House's face shows up on the big screen saying,
well, hello, chum.
And that's where I thought of the conclusion. Well, is maybe there more than one diode if Diane Welch's severed head can survive that long and needs to survive that long?
Yeah, is she on the diode that she got in the car that was given to the president in the car? Is that a different one than...
Well, she's within Vault-Tec, so I don't know about that because the president had nothing to do with Vault-Tec.
Right.
Well,
if they're the Enclave or... But there
yeah.
was a speculation of whether Vault-Tec and the Enclave were one and the same, just who's controlling who.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know if I agree with that, though. But there is an alternative solution. What is Bud Askins? Really a brain in a jar that's on a Roomba? Well, how much further would you need to go with Diane Welch? It's the same principle. It is Vault-Tec.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to go that far to make that happen.
Yeah, her brain just still happens to be wrapped in her skull.
Yeah, very well put. Wrapped in flesh and bone.
Yeah.
I love it. Never change. Ever. She's Canadian.
Welch not being able to explain herself well. Could that have been a plan from the Enclave to get Coop on their side? As Welch and the president work for the Enclave, they get Coop on their side and he gives them the diode.
Plan and a gamble on their part.
Yeah.
If they were
Like
trying to do that. But,
like a long con, exactly.
And how would that be different from Moldaver or / Kate Williams?
But then in the end, the Enclave ends up killing Welch and using her for this thing.
Yeah.
Which goes to their ruthlessness, too. Who are they willing to sacrifice on their altar to get their thing done? Which, again, the final episode might wrap up that thought. This is just speculation now.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how it's possible that Diane just became a victim of trusting the wrong people. She had faith in the US government, and the government is not the upstanding organization that she believed it was or that she thought she was fighting for. And she ended up getting the short end of the stick, probably agreed to some kind of program that they were doing with Vault-Tec. I think it's clear that Vault-Tec and the Enclave were trading with each other or swapping secrets or technology or something like that. So I don't think it's unreasonable to say that she ended up in a Vault-Tec vault, probably at the behest of the president, who is definitely part of the Enclave. She ended up being a victim of the Enclave, just as Cooper wanting to trust somebody that he thought was good. He put his trust in Diane. Diane was trusting in somebody who was not ultimately a good person. And then Max was like, we'll give it to somebody good. And Cooper must be thinking, I thought I was doing that too. And look what happened. So just thinking about how all those things tie together. And also, I'm really upset about what happened to Diane. Like I said, I didn't really care about her character at all until I saw that happen to her. And I feel like she didn't deserve that. That was just rude.
She's kind of sweet, even if she's hapless. She's like a vault dweller in that way. Think about how this season opens. What does it open up with? And I'm speaking specifically about Norm, who we will get to now. But before we do, what did Norm say about his 2 binary options that Bud Askins gave him? You either submit or you die. He says, well, let me try chaos. What is Coop trying right now? In similar fashion, too, with all the computers and whatnot. Norm's at a computer is something that he's good at. Just doing chaos. Let's open them all up. Coop is saying chaos. I'm going to give the cold fusion to the one person who, by the way, doesn't have all his Securitrons, doesn't have all the things that would make him dangerous. A defanged Robert House. He still has like monitoring equipment of his facility, his one facility. But I am curious to know the range of his influence at this point. Because even you said, Karina, all the Securitrons almost everywhere are glitching out because he's not there. But B, they're all disabled too.
If he comes back online, won't he reestablish a connection with all of them?
How
Possibly.
if they're all decommissioned, though? They
Not
looked at like
necessarily.
a
Signal.
Well, they had the one that they
It was
encountered
powered
that
down.
was still active. It just wasn't receiving any logical orders, so it was just kind of doing its own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I said what I said. It's like, well, anything around the strip, though, seemed to be
Yeah.
wrecked.
Well,
Yeah, if it's completely damaged, then probably not.
Well, they were punched in the face, too. For their fusion cores.
my thought was that he might be thinking that because House always has triple, quadruple backup plans, that he must have something stashed in his back pocket to retake control of all of this. Even if all of his Securitrons or currently operating ones are disabled, there may be some more in storage. We don't know what House has planned. He had a body double, for Pete's sake. The body double could have been the one in the capsule. We don't know.
Oh. Interesting. This is where a departure from the games or a person who hasn't played the games could make an assertion. Is Robert House a bad guy necessarily? From all the things that we've seen in this series, it's hard for you to not think about the games, but in this series, House is kind of at least in the series, we saw him experiment on his automated man device. And it is the basis of what Hank is doing now. And I think there's an argument to be made that he would only use this on people who would wish to commit violence unbridled, which is the Legion. So there's that. Other than that, I don't see House as being a bad guy necessarily. Maybe he has Machiavellian tendencies, or like the only one who has the answer is me because I put the work in to figure out what the best solution is. He does have a concerted effort to find out how to avoid the end of the world or to circumvent it affecting him at the very least. So I guess what I'm really asking is, why does the Ghoul entrust Cold Fusion to Robert House? I'm really curious to know what all you think first, though, before we get to Karina, because she has so much knowledge.
The only thing I can think of is he just really wants to get his family back.
Oh, like Rachel said earlier, right?
Yeah, like she said earlier.
That's I agree.
Like
I think
he'll
that's
use
his
anything
main
to do
goal.
that.
Yeah.
And I think he knows because Robert House obviously has some kind of access to that vault that Hank is in because his experiment of the mind control device is in there.
And so he can turn the tables.
Yeah.
You know what else is interesting is Rodriguez kind of says this to the Ghoul. I think Victor sort of says this as well, that you can't do it alone. The Ghoul trying over and over again, right? Hell is repetition, and trying the same thing over and over again proves how insane you are. The Ghoul trying to shoot his way into figuring out his problems has not worked out for him.
No.
Similar to Ma June's time with Lucy, however brief, the Ghoul's time with Lucy has also changed him a little bit. He's explaining a lot more. He's leveraging a scenario, right? He's using persuasion here. He's forming alliances there rather than poo 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 at Philly. So it's interesting to see him play the game finally, to actually be in the Fallout games, actually leveraging different means by which he can get people to undo themselves or whatever. And so I guess the answer is he's learning that he can't do it alone and that sometimes he has to actually try to play the game and outsmart the system. If he can use the enemy of my enemy is my friend, if he can use House against whatever this is it the Enclave? Yeah, sure. We've seen the first episode. Hank even, right? To that extent. Maybe the Enclave isn't around according to him because he doesn't know. But at least he knows Hank is in play. And if he can turn the tables on Hank, he can get his family back. It's cool to say, finally out loud, for the last couple episodes, the Ghoul is evolving. So maybe, Rachel, you're right. Maybe he's turning back into a human. Oh, kissable lips.
At least in here,
Goggins,
where it
Ghoul.
matters.
You might get your wish. Why don't we stroll on into that I think everybody wants to kind of talk about, aside from Thaddeus's arm falling off and his mouth and his everywhere. Let's talk about the Deathclaw fight.
Ooh, nice.
I wrote no notes on that. Literally,
No notes.
what notes would there be?
True.
One note.
It
Second
was
time
epic.
watching it, I realized it was epic. Yeah, when they showed the death claw, it was eating another death claw.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't see
Okay, I
that
did
at
have
first.
that note. That's
Yeah.
true. Is that a thing?
I mean,
It
I
is
guess
now.
they're all trapped in there
Well,
together.
sorry.
Okay.
I mean, they're
But they're not
trapped in
obviously
there.
eating
They
each
obviously
other,
probably
yeah.
fight each other over whatever food scraps, and once it's dead, might as well be food.
Mm.
Do you remember the end credit scene of the Gamora where you do actually get to see a Deathclaw there, but it's a
Mhm.
female Deathclaw, I think it is?
Mhm.
Hmm.
That's interesting. It looked different than the Deathclaws we saw.
Oh, really?
Oh, on the
Sorry,
strip.
how do you know it's a female? Did you look up her skirt?
I remembered something that Karina had said about there's like a difference
It's a
between the male and
Jurassic
female.
Park reference.
Oh.
Oh, what was the serial killer's name again? What?
Nobody's getting my jokes.
Well, it's
Sorry,
just
Rachel, I
understanding.
didn't catch it, but now I remember.
Okay, well, chapeau. You saw the female Deathclaw in the end credit scene for that episode where it goes up to House's Lucky 38 penthouse.
The only note I had for the fight scene was that it was awesome. I especially loved the facial expressions from the Ghoul. I think this is the first time that I can remember where we've seen him genuinely scared.
When he looked at the Deathclaw the first time,
Yeah, he was
the
same
reveal at the end of
expression.
that episode, the Wrangler, I think it was. He was definitely scared. And then subsequently in the next episode. But no, you're right. His facial expressions are on point this episode entirely.
Very, very terrified. The end of the scene had me wondering because we see, of course, Maximus gets launched through the gate. Now that gate's just torn open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Were you just as worried?
Well, the thing's just sort of standing there. I would have expected it to come charging in, and it didn't. So
Yet.
how
Yet,
is
for
it
sure.
yet?
That's the next episode.
Penultimate episode suspense.
But we talked about it last episode too. They could jump over that thing or push it over easily. They're clearly
Territorial.
respecting the boundary.
I think,
somehow.
yeah,
it's a
because
game.
they had a nest
The loading
in
screen.
there, so they were protecting their nest, and as long as the people weren't bothering them, they weren't bothering the people, they were okay. The
Okay.
gate's
Yeah.
down, and the Deathclaw is really pissed at Max at the moment, so
Mhm.
chances are it's probably going to charge through that gate
Okay.
Yeah.
because now it's open, and there's a bunch of people to slaughter now,
Yeah.
in its view.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, look at
More
this.
And they all
buffet.
believe in
Mhm.
Max now too because of the NCR.
Mhm.
Wait till he lets them down.
But that power armor was blaring an alarm. I don't know if it's functional anymore
Yeah.
or not, so we'll see.
No kidding.
Right, yeah.
Yikes. I'm scared. Suspense.
The arm blades on that power armor are really cool too.
Oh,
Oh,
so
yeah.
It
cool.
was.
The gauntlets.
Till they get stuck in a car door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a staple for NCR armor, Karina, in the game? Or do they have those arm blades?
That I
or-
don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure because I haven't played New Vegas in a long time and I don't remember if there's NCR power armor in there, and I don't recall seeing NCR power armor in Fallout 4. There is Raider armor that has like rebar and stuff all over it, which is pretty cool looking, but I don't
Oh.
recall
Oh, that's
NCR
cool.
Yeah.
armor. Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't think you'd see that because you wouldn't think that they're that sophisticated to be able to make power armor. But hey,
Well, they
It's more
don't.
like
They
take
just
power
take the
armor than
pieces and then add
alternate.
stuff to it, and they
Yep.
take the plates off.
I don't know if it warrants discussion, but the actual wedding of Chet and Stephanie, we talked about her fleeing it, but it
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
was nice to see him have a backbone.
Yeah,
Even though
and
it
actually
was
grow
really
his
shaky
spine.
nice,
there.
yeah.
I did find it funny that his argument started to sound more and more crazy the more he said about it. Oh, I found his glasses in our garbage disposal, and they're like, well, where are they? And I'm like, well, I got rid of them. And then
They left
she's
them
over
there.
200 years old. I'm like, oh, this is going off the rails. And then he's like, and
Oh,
she's
boy.
Canadian. And then they believed him and freaked out. Like, I thought that was hilarious to me. Just she's
Mhm.
200 years old. I mean, how crazy does he sound? Like, we know that that's
Insane.
true, but from
Mhm.
the other vault dwellers' perspective, that must sound crazy. Like,
You know, I did have a question to ask about that. Do you think the vault dwellers would, I don't know about forgiving her, but do you think they would cut her some slack if she explained herself? Because given the fact that we've been talking a big game about you have to figure it out in a vault, or else your vault might go to ruin, as all vaults we've seen in Fallout do, almost all at least.
I think they would cut her slack because at least I don't think that they're gonna like murder her over this because they put the raiders in jail afterwards, even though some of the dwellers, Stephanie particularly, was like, oh, we should definitely just kill them. But I think most of them were like, oh no, they should be in prison and then we'll rehabilitate them.
And how well did that go?
Not well.
No.
I only ask that because it will determine how we ought to see Stephanie. Again, on a level, I do feel bad for her. Obviously, she causes a lot of chaos in her wake. Her mother's name is Joan, by the way, in the X-ray. And she is played by legend Natasha Henstridge, best known for Species, Ghost of Mars, Species 2, obviously,
Species.
The whole 9 yards. Very good in that. Yeah, she's in the new Charmed. Oh, interesting. From 2022.
Your favorite show.
Yeah, my favorite show. And she's in a show called Why? Why did they remake Charm, a show that was already pretty bad? I'm kidding. I'm joking, obviously. You can love what you love.
He hates Charmed.
I don't hate it. Oh, she was also on Eli Stone. That was a great show, by the way, for those who want to watch a really heady show.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, so legend.
Yeah, but she said, basically forget all our Catholic values, because obviously there has been persecution of Catholics in this country because of some Lutheran Christians who are like, oh, this is the way. I would wonder what would get Stephanie to stop. What does Stephanie look like? Not crazy. Because you know what? I do want to fall in love again, you know? In a filmic way, when you show the ugliness of somebody in a visual fashion. So, right, she wakes up in a fit of terror, remembering the past. She doesn't put her eye patch back on. Why should she care? That's how she is. But when we see her, you're meant to be turned off by it because she's doing things that would turn you off. And she's doing it with the eye patch on. So you're like, oh, I don't. Right? Branding is everything. Eye patch, brand recognition. But you're like, oh, but now the eye patch is off. And you can see the actual ugliness that's behind it, that eye patch. And so it's meant to turn you off. You're meant to be maximum disgust with Stephanie. It's interesting to see where you land now. After seeing her backstory, but seeing the ugliness of today, can they be redeemed too? Can she be the badass person you fell in love with, Rachel, in the first episode?
Yeah, I don't think so. From everything we've seen in her backstory, what we're meant to believe about Stephanie right now is that she just hates Americans, which is everybody in her vault.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and then what is America now in the post-Great War in the wasteland?
Yeah.
That's the real question. You've escaped it. You succeeded. Her mom says, forget everything about Catholicism, but there's a flood coming. And you need to get to the highest branch that you could find and survive. Well, yeah, she survived the flood. Now what? But she's still running. And she's still killing.
Now she wants to kill all Americans.
Right. Is that what her mom would have wanted for her? Really?
Probably.
Well, she said, climb the highest branch you could find and survive. But now that she's survived, now what?
Take out your enemies.
Again, some more. Okay.
This is what the flashback is leading me to believe anyway.
Well, she says if you have to hurt people, God won't judge you, but
and then we see her slit that guy's throat.
But at what point?
She needed to eat. She needed the beans.
I know, but I thought she was going to like hold him up. Just put the knife to his throat and be like, I'm taking your beans.
She almost used it.
Nope. There's no time for discussion.
So then there's the argument of, was she always like that?
Yes.
I think so. She just needed an excuse to actually do it.
Mommy said it was okay.
And it's what House said to the ghoul as he's running away and drinking in the elevator. You're a killer. Maybe you should be more introspective. Sticks and stones, Cooper Howard. And he was a killer. He was in all these wars fighting on the behest of the government. Diane Welch even actually mentions this in this episode in her own Diane Welch way. He says how much her branding sucks, or her outreach sucks, or her marketing is. She goes, well, look who's talking. Your movies are one thing, but you fighting for the U.S. government on behalf of a government who doesn't always land, because they met because of the veterans thing, how people died in that war. And for what was that war for? And she even mentions it, the 25-year resource wars. Yeah. That Alaskan front, that was only 11 years of the 25-year resource wars.
Oh, okay. There's another Fallout Easter egg or cameo. The president,
Clancy Brown.
And in the game, Karina supposedly plays a character named Rhombus. Do you know who Rhombus is?
I don't recall.
I believe it was in the first Fallout game.
He voices that character too, yeah. Okay. So that was a little Fallout.
Oh, Clancy Brown voices Rhombus?
Yeah, he voices somebody in the game. Yeah.
Oh, the actor. Okay. I thought the president was Rhombus. I'm like, wait, this is getting convoluted. No. President turns into something else? And of course, like I said, VO legend, voiceover legend.
I'll always remember him from Highlander.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's Mr. Krabs.
Yes, that's
SpongeBob. No, I have one other Fallout Easter egg of note.
You didn't know that, did you?
So you didn't know? That he's Mr. Krabs.
Dave didn't know that.
Who's that? Just I'm going with the theme.
Who's that? From
Can you
SpongeBob
repeat that?
SquarePants.
What's a Mr. Krabs?
Mr.
SpongeBob
Krabs.
is way after
It's an American
our
cartoon
me and
that
Dave's time.
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after these messages. We just thought we'd remind you to show this episode some love by tapping that like button, if there's one to be tapped, subscribing to our podcast or channel, and if available, enabling all notifications, and sharing the show, or clips of it, with everyone you know. And don't be afraid to reach out. Leave your questions, feedback, ideas, or even concerns in the comments section. There isn't one? Head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and leave your thoughts there. Rating our podcast is the best way to get our attention because it also boosts our visibility. And we'll probably address it in the next episode too. And if you think there's something to what we're doing here at Squawking Dead, tip us over on Ko-fi. As a token of our appreciation, you'll receive forever access to our Discord, along with 30 days access to our uncut episode and interview recordings, plus our pre-squawk insights. Take your support further. Join a membership tier on either ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead, and you'll unlock access to more channels on our Discord server, receive shoutouts at the end of every episode, and depending on what tier you join, the ability to join us on camera and mic to break down future episodes alongside us. Thank you for hearing us out and making it this far into the episode. We now return you to our regularly scheduled podcast.
So the Fallout Easter egg, when Betty is opening the hidden safe, she moves aside a painting that you would assume is Napoleon crossing the Alps. It's based off of that painting, but it's not Napoleon on the horse. It's Todd Howard, the director of Bethesda. And you can actually see that painting in Fallout 4 and in Fallout 76. And Todd Howard has that painting in his office as well.
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I'd commission the F out of that painting. Out of my house. Betty, exasperated, getting the keepsake box, saying, Henry, you and your secrets. At the end of the last season, you discover Betty Pearson of the past. She does mention to Stephanie,
You're so much like how I remember you. We were scared of you, but I sometimes forget how much I learned in the time you were still under.
because of course we didn't get to see what was in the box.
Not yet.
So who's to say whether Betty didn't mess with it in some form or fashion? Which I don't know. I mean, if you're trying to humanize Stephanie in this episode, will we get to see some sort of other side of Stephanie that we haven't seen up until now to make us think differently about her? And maybe Betty turns out to be the villain all along. I don't know. But I guess we have one more episode to find out. So thank you for listening to our coverage of this episode, going deep as we normally do. I can't wait for the season finale. I hope it does answer all the questions, Rachel. And there's
All
no
but
just
one.
one more thing. No, I need more. I need all of them. I need all 300, not 299 or even 97. All 300. If you think we missed anything, definitely leave a comment or leave a rating at ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead. I have been your host, David Cameo, and I was joined by a waving
Sleepy Mom 09.
Karina of Etta Karina Art.
Jason at Neo's the one. Had a good time talking with you guys.
Yeah.
same.
And Rob at Rob Stuff and Things. Watch out for medical episodes, everybody. Yeah.
Don't have a medical episode.
I'll be sure to, Rob. Sound advice. And in the meantime, definitely look out for medical episodes. And also just remember that we are Squawking Dead. See you real soon for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms third episode. Yeah, join us in the real-time chat. It's all right. You should do it. You should do it.
What
It's free.
body parts will we see this time?
Oh boy. How will this episode open next time?
Yeah.
We got poop and penis. What's the other P? Anyway, take care. Bye.
I'm assuming
See
that's
ya.
cut out.
Peace. Okay, bye.
Yay. We did it, everybody. It's time to eat and go to sleep.
Go to
No, it's time to play video games.
Oh,
sleep. No.
Thank you so very much for making it to the end of yet another episode of Squawking Dead. Or if this is your first time listening or watching, I appreciate you making it to this point in our little episode, and hopefully you'll tune in for another one. You've listened to Fallout's 7th and penultimate episode of Season 2 titled The Handoff. I don't know if you know this, but the Season 2 finale episode is actually going to be dropping in just about 3 hours from now, 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Couldn't be more excited to watch it, which gives you an idea of how difficult it's been to cover 2 episodes a week. We've had to release our reaction plus breakdown of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms and simultaneously Fallout. And right as we close Fallout, we're covering Dark Winds, and might as well announce it now. I just finalized my 10-year anniversary President's Week vacation. So I'll be gone for a little bit of that time where we start covering Dark Winds and we still have the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So some of those episodes will be coming out a little later, I have to assume. I think I'll be there for the recordings. I just don't think I'll be there for editing these episodes. Although maybe I'll just do what I did during our troubled times in November and just see what Riverside can do about editing these episodes up a lot quicker. That being said, you reached the point in time of this podcast episode where we acknowledge our supporters. A little earlier, you heard our call to action regarding what you can do to support us. This is one of the little tiny perks that supporters receive at the end of every episode. Walkers via visual cues, whispers and survivors in reverse order, verbally and visually. Since we don't have any survivors, our junior producer tier, we'll move on to our whispers members, starting with Jason, who was with us to break down this episode. Yet another perk one receives when they join the whispers and or survivors tier. You can find him on @Neos1 on Instagram and Twitch and all the other places. It's NEOS, the number 1, HEONE. And of course, Rob Lucchese was also here. He was here during our Welcome to Derry coverage. He's reachable and most prevalent on TikTok via @RobsStuff_N as in Nancy_Thangs, THANGS. And let's not forget our dear Kim Rowley, who reached out to me today via DMs to work out some technicals. We love her so much. You can get her at Facebook via @Kim.Rowley, the number 1. I'm just going to put this little baby to bed so that I can watch the finale in just a few hours, maybe even cut some clips in the meantime, get some work done, and I'll gear up to get the reaction to our last discussion of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, 3rd episode, because the 4th episode, just another little tidbit, is going to be released early on Friday evening so that it doesn't interfere with the Super Bowl on Sunday. So you just received 2 episodes of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms in a week. I hope you enjoy that. That's going to be hell on earth for us, but hopefully we can get everything out the door over the weekend. Fingers crossed. We'll be recording our reaction plus breakdown of that on Saturday. We're still finalizing the time. As always, follow our Ko-fi and Patreon page for free so that you can join our recording studio sessions in the real-time chat for free as well. We don't post those schedules and details on social media, so you'll have to follow so you get notifications. And whether you do or you don't, I just hope that you remember in the meantime that we are squawking dead.